Hi, welcome back. My name is Ysis if you're new here, and today I'm going to be talking about my best and worst features of the iPhone X and also some hidden features, things that I find that make life easier with my phone. And I've had the iPhone X since launch day, so was it around about October, November, something like that. So it's been quite a few months now and I am well and truly into the phone. I absolutely love it. I do not regret buying it. Is it worth the extra bit of money? And it is totally worth it for me. If you don't use the extra features of the iPhone X and if you don't think that you're going to make the most of what the phone has to offer, then maybe not worth it for you. But for me, I'm a tech fan, I'm an Apple fan, and I just had to get it and I've been so happy with it. So I'm going to start with my favorite features because it's always nice to start on a positive note. And my first favorite feature is Face ID. And I know it's something that divides people. A lot of people hate it, some people love it. I love it. I find it really responsive. I'm going to show you the screen of my phone. As you can see, I've got a picture of my gorgeous son on there, and that little padlock there shows that my phone is locked. And so if I look at it, it's unlocked. And I'll show you the open padlock. Oh, there you go. So it's really, really responsive. The one thing I find is that if someone picks up my phone and looks at it, and the padlock kind of like shakes to say that it's not going to unlock for that person, and then if I look at it and try and unlock, it will be a bit iffy, and that's the only time where I find that Face ID doesn't work. It's almost as if it's saying someone else tried to unlock your phone, we're going to ask for your password just in case. But even when it doesn't work, I really don't mind inputting my password. It's just it's like second nature now, but I find it really responsive, and pretty much every single time it will unlock. It's unlocked now, so I find it really, really good. My second favorite feature is the swipe up to get to the home screen. That was just revolutionary. I thought once I got this phone, there's no way I'm gonna get used to not having a home button. How on earth am I gonna sort of like try and get back to home? And it's just so natural. It took me less than a day to get used to it, and I've keep doing it with my old phones that I have at home. I keep like swiping to go home even though they have a home button. And so I find it just like so easy. It's one gesture for everything. It makes it all cohesive and so easy to do. So I love swipe up to go home. My third favorite feature is wireless charging. These are all sort of like the new features of the iPhone X, but I thought I'd mention it because they are the features that people decide, the people deliberate the most on whether or not it's worth getting the iPhone X for these features and whether they actually work or not. Although I don't use it that often because I only have one wireless charger at my home and it's in my daughter's nursery, so it's like an Ikea lamp that has a wireless charger built in, which is amazing. I'll leave it linked below because it's really, really handy. And I also have one in our car, but I don't tend to use it as often because most of the time that I want to charge my phone, I also want to use it. And that's one downside of wireless charging, is that you have to have your phone just basically there, and you're not really able to use it properly. But I do find it really useful, like I say, when I'm in the car and I'm not using my phone, and when I'm putting my daughter to sleep and I just put my phone on her side table. Even if I've got low battery, I know it's charging. If she struggles to sleep and I'm there for hours, I know my phone is charging. So I find that really useful, although not a necessity by any means. I find it really useful and really good. My next favorite feature is the size of the screen and the fact that it takes the whole face of the phone. It was just such a waste of space to have that black border around the screen. It just makes more sense to have full screen on your phone, and it also means that you don't have to have a bigger phone to have a bigger screen. I had a 7 Plus, which was huge, and at the time I didn't think it was a problem, but as soon as I moved to the iPhone X, which is smaller than the iPhone 7 Plus, I noticed a big difference on how much easier it is just to hold it, to handle the whole phone pretty much one-handed, even though I have very small hands. I really like the size of the screen. And my last favorite feature is the feel of the phone. It feels pretty grippy, and I know I have a case on it. This is just a see-through silicone case that I got from Amazon, and I really like it. I highly recommend it because you don't have to compromise on the look of your phone. You can still see it, you can still you know, show off your very expensive phone, but it protects my phone. I have 2 toddlers and they're constantly dropping my phone, and it's never smashed or anything. This case protects it really well, and it also helps protect the camera at the back because the camera is slightly raised up, and so it makes it all level and it doesn't scratch the camera. I thought it was going to be so slippery because it's all glass, but it's not. It's quite grippy. It feels good in my hands. It just feels like, you know, the right thickness for a phone and the right texture of everything. So I really like the feel of it in my hands. I think when I take my old phones out and I hold it, it just, something feels off, and this feels right. And I think it's perfectly weighted as well, so not too light, not too heavy. It's just a really nice grippy phone, and it's got a good feel to it. So yeah, and I love the look of it. Obviously it just looks really, really pretty and sleek. Now let's move on to my not so favorite features of the iPhone X. I have a few more not favorites than favorites, but that's only because I'm being a bit picky and I'm trying to get anything that annoys me to show you guys. So the first thing that annoys me is that still to this day, how many months since I got it? So October, November, December, Jan, Feb, March, April, 6 months on, the optimization of apps is not great. There are still apps that just don't fit in the screen of my phone and look a bit off or a bit wrong. It is getting better slowly, but even things like Instagram, which is just like such a big app, like lots of people use it, it's still not optimized in certain parts. So I'll show you what I mean. The Instagram app itself looks fine, but then when you go into your direct messages, so if someone sends you a message as a reply to your Instagram story and you click on your story, within that reply, it doesn't fit. Like the story is a bit off. It doesn't look like it looks when you see your story in your profile. So that's an optimization problem, which is really strange, like for Instagram not to have dealt with it. It's been like that since the day I bought my phone. That's just one example. So yeah, there are a lot of apps that still don't work amazingly well with the screen size and with the way that the iPhone X is. My second worst feature is Face ID, and I will explain because I just said loads of praises about Face ID, but it can be too responsive sometimes. And one thing that happened to me recently was that my phone was in my pocket and it was lit up. So my husband said to me, "Your phone is on." I picked up my phone and all of a sudden I saw Face ID and it was authorizing a payment of some sort. And I just I panicked and I looked away, but it had already authorized just by me picking up my phone to turn off the screen. And I ended up purchasing by mistake, I think it was 1 terabyte of iCloud storage. It can be a little bit too responsive. I had to call Apple to cancel it because obviously I didn't want 1 terabyte of iCloud storage. So yeah, that's like the only little downside of Face ID for me is a bit too responsive. My third actually downside of the iPhone X is that you can't see your battery percentage. There is no way that you can see it by looking at it. You can swipe down on the screen to bring up the battery, but again, that is one extra thing that you have to do. And sometimes I just want to tap and see how much battery I have, or be typing something and be able to see the battery, because I live on the edge and I'm always like on 1% battery. Does anyone else do that? I kind of feel like I need to see how far I can go before my phone dies. My husband thinks I'm crazy and he never lets his phone run out of battery, but I like living on the edge and I like getting to that 1%. So I can't really see 1% anymore, and I've come to points where my phone is like dead and I didn't even know that I only had 1% battery. Anyway, so that's not too bad, but it is something that it annoys me, not being able to see the battery percentage straight away and to have to swipe to see it. Another downside, another feature that I don't like is that it automatically toggles Bluetooth and Wi-Fi when you turn airplane mode off. If I'm looking down, I'm reading my notes because I made notes about things so I wouldn't forget. If I need, for example, to reset my Wi-Fi connection, if it's not working, I put it on airplane mode, and if I turn it back on, it will toggle Wi-Fi and Bluetooth automatically, and I've not found a way to change that so that it only toggles Wi-Fi back on. If you know a way, please let me know. Well, that's really annoying because I have to manually change to turn it off Bluetooth. Again, not too bad, but just a little annoyance. Another thing that annoys me is that, again, 6 months on, there aren't that many cases that I can buy in stores. Online, I can find loads of cases, and I like Amazon for cases. Let me know if you have any other stores that you like for cases, because I'm looking for new cases for my phone now, and I want something like really cool, trendy, maybe something personalized. So if you know any good personalized cases store, let me know. But if you go like in a supermarket, I used to be able to go into Tesco or Boots or something and buy a new case for my phone if I felt like it, but now I can't do that. I go into Tesco and there's literally only cases for iPhone 8 or iPhone 7, but nothing for the iPhone 10. And my least favorite feature is closing apps. It is straightforward enough, but it's just a few more steps than I was used to. I was used to just double tapping and then swiping up and closing all my apps. And now you'd have to swipe halfway, tap on the app, and then swipe up to close the app, or tap the little red, what's it called? The little red closing symbol. So it is a little bit more fiddly. I prefer the old way, and I would prefer if they kept it at least swipe halfway and swipe up to close the apps. So these are all of my least favorite features of the iPhone 10, and now I'm going to talk to you about some hidden features, things that you might not know if you have an iPhone 10, if you're new to iPhone 10 world and you want to find new things to do. The first hidden feature that not everybody knows is that you can swipe left or right at the bottom of your screen to switch between apps. You see the little line that shows you that that's the swipe up to go home, and if you're on the home screen, you can swipe on the same place to go back to your last open app. And I think that's really handy, so you don't have to find the app that you're using. If you use folders a lot and your apps are not visible and you know that there was an app that you were using a minute ago and you want to get to it, just swipe left from your home screen or swipe left and right between apps when you're within a specific app. Another hidden feature is that you don't always have to press the side button or raise your phone to wake up. You can tap to wake as well, and I find that really handy when I'm in bed and I just want to look at the time. You tap and your phone wakes and you can, unlock it, use it, and I think that's really, really handy. It's something that comes so naturally to me and so simple, but I have a few friends who have an iPhone 10 and they didn't know that. They always thought they had to press the side button or raise the phone to wake up. So if you tap your phone, it will wake up and it will light up for you. Another hidden feature that I like is the force touch in Control Center. So if you swipe down on the right side of your screen, it takes you to your Control Center. So if you force touch that first little square that has airplane mode, it shows you more options of what you can control from your Control Center. So it adds personal hotspot, being able to turn that on and off, AirDrop, so you can turn it on and off as well. And I find that really, really handy because it gives you more options. If you force touch your brightness, it will show you a little handy slider. It will show you the option of turning night shift mode on and true tone mode on or off, which is really handy. And there's plenty more that you can force touch to be able to access more features just within Control Center. You can set a timer by force touching, and if you don't know how to add these extra little icons here, it's in settings. Let me see if I can find. So you go into settings, then you go into your Control Center, and then you press customize controls. So then you can add more little buttons there so that you have more control in your Control Center. So I find that really handy to have more options just within a force touch away. Another hidden feature, which is not very hidden if you've had this phone for a long time, but if you're new to it, you must be wondering, how do I do a screenshot? Because I don't have a home button anymore. So to do a screenshot, you press your side button and your volume up button together and it will take a screenshot. It's not the most obvious, but when you do it, you see how intuitive it is, because it's just how you're holding your phone in any case, so it doesn't require any more work than you're already doing. Another cool hidden feature is something that I mentioned a minute ago, and it's being able to close apps by not just tapping the little red symbol, which is very tiny and sometimes annoying to hit it specifically, but just by swiping up on the app. So when you see the little red symbol after you've held on your finger on the apps that are open, you can just swipe up and it will close the apps. And again, that might seem simple, but it wasn't something that I immediately knew. It was something that I had to Google and research. It's something you might not know, it might be helpful to you. And the last hidden feature is something that I talked about in my tech hacks for parents, and it's not necessarily something that the iPhone 10 has. All iPhones pretty much have. It's a software thing, but I thought I'd mention here in any case, and it's the accessibility mode, and using accessibility mode to lock your phone for your children to play, or if you've given your phone to a friend and you don't want them to get out of that app and go through all of your apps. So you go into your settings, then you go into general, and then you scroll all the way to accessibility, scroll all the way down to accessibility shortcut, and then you have to toggle guided access. And that way, when you're within an app, you can triple click your home button and it will lock your phone to stay within that app. You do have some control, so the first time that you do it, it will pop up with a screen telling you, do you want to enable touch? Do you want to enable the screen orientation? Do you want to enable just like a few features, or if you want to lock it completely, you can. And to get out of that, you can either triple click the side button and put your password in, or you can double click the side button and do your Face ID, and it will end the guided access and you'll be able to use your phone normally again. So that's not really a feature of the iPhone 10, but it's something that I use a lot, especially having children that are constantly fiddling with my phone, and it might be useful even if you don't have children, and if you have friends who are nosy and like to look at your photos, but you want to give them your phone to play on a game or something, that might be really useful. So that's everything that I wanted to share today about my iPhone 10. I hope you guys found this video helpful. Let me know on the comments below what are your favorite and your least favorite features of the iPhone 10. If you know any more hidden features, again, leave it on the comments below. It might be interesting for anyone watching this video, and I would love to know as well, because I'm a total geek and I like knowing things like that. If you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, I'd love for you to subscribe. I make lots of videos, tech videos, I make parenting videos, lifestyle videos, so stick around and watch some more videos. I'll leave a few videos in the description box below that are related to this video, so if you're looking for content that's similar to this one, then maybe you'll find my previous videos interesting. I've done a review of my Apple Watch Series 3. I've also done my favorite apps on my Apple Watch. I've done my unboxing of my iPhone 10. So there's lots of tech videos for you to watch here as well. I hope you're all having a lovely day, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye!